Good afternoon, and welcome to the Coalition of Business and Professional Women Sororities virtual pop-up shop day. Thank you so much for joining us. We're excited to be live streaming to you in the middle of our shopping Saturday. Today is November 26th. This is our second annual event. This is the second time that we've done this with the 4 organizations that are represented to bring this day to you. We're excited to have Iota Phi Lambda Sorority Incorporated, Gamma Phi Delta Sorority Incorporated, Eta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, and Lambda Kappa Mu Sorority Incorporated today. These groups have come together in order to provide a shopping experience that supports the women, the business and professional women of our organizations, as well as outside organizations. And so today we wanted to just take a little bit of time to introduce them to you, to share a little bit about who they are, and for you to get to know us a little bit better. And in the meantime, if you are available, the link is in this event, and we invite you to register and come on over into Zoom and join us for this day. Come see who the vendors are, come take an opportunity to shop with them. And we would love to see you support them in that effort. There'll be great stuff here for you to get for the holidays, for your family, for your friend, and definitely for yourself. So right now, what I would like to do is to introduce you to the organization that was the lead organization for this year, and that is Iota Phi Lambda Sorority Incorporated, whose national president is Dorothy White.
Excuse me.
Dorothy White, pleasure.
Yes, thank you, Dorita. It is great to be with you today. As Dorita said, I am Dorothy White, the 23rd National President for Iota Phi Lambda Sorority Incorporated, and I have been a member of Iota for 26 years. And I have the honor of being a member of Alpha Chapter in Chicago, Illinois, the founding chapter. And so it has been a wonderful experience being a member of this great organization and this wonderful chapter. I was introduced to Iota by my sister-in-law, Sharon Kirby White. At one point, she was inviting me to all of these events and selling tickets. And I got to know some of the women of Iota. And after a couple of years, I decided to become a part of this. I really got to understand the mission, and I love the women who were a part of it, and they were so dedicated to the work that they were doing in the community that I just wanted to be a part of it. So in 1997, I think it was, I decided to join. So I have been a member since then, and it has been a very great experience getting to know such wonderful women and doing the work of Iota in the community. So thank you for joining us today. Dorita, thank you so much for organizing this. And as you said, Iota Phi Lambda Sorority is a lead organization for this year. Thank you. And that's just a little something about me and how I came to know Iota.
Great. We're going to invite President Lenore Reese to say welcome.
Welcome, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this virtual event. As we know, COVID caused us to make many changes, and one of those changes was to figure out how we could maintain our organizations and the sisterhood that existed. So one of the things that we did was came up with the idea to do a virtual shopping mall. We'd never done it before, but we knew we could do it. So I'm glad that this is our second year and we continue to grow and we get better each year. So we hope that this is something that will continue. I've been a member of Gamma Phi Delta Sorority Incorporated for 25 years. And it is one of the experiences that I will not forget, that I have never looked back. I was approached by a friend of mine to join. And once I went to the information meeting, I was locked in. It was, Gamma Phi Delta Sorority Incorporated for life. It is a wonderful group of women. And like Dorothy said, the community service is just something that it gives you more than you get. And it's wonderful to have the opportunity to serve with other women. And also, as an organization, we were founded in Detroit, Michigan, by two sisters, African-American sisters. The founder was Elizabeth Garner and the co-founder, Dr. Violet T. Lewis. And we were founded in the Motor City. Our headquarters is currently located in one of the buildings that used to be part of what is called Motown Row. So we're excited to be in existence, to be available, to serve the community. And even more so, I am very glad to be a part of this coalition with these wonderful presidents, and we have all learned so much from each other. So now I will turn it back over to Dorita. Thank you.
Thank you. So now let's hear from Lambda Kappa Mu Sorority Incorporated with Grand Basilisk Dr. Deidre Sanford Scruggs.
Good morning again, everyone. Lambda Kappa Mu Sorority Incorporated is the second oldest professional business women's sorority, as we have been in existence for 85 years. Lambda Kappa Mu Sorority, again, is a business and professional women's organization. We were founded in 1937 by Mrs. Florence K. Norman, a true visionary who recognized the need for an organization of business women to be a vital part of the community. Chapters may be are located across the United States, as far west as California, as far north as Syracuse and Chicago, and two newly formed chapters in the South, Fredericksburg and Atlanta. Our sorority has two national affiliates, the Black Women's Agenda and the National Council of Negro Women, where our founder worked closely with Mary McLeod Bethune and served as one of the charter members. And lastly, in 1962, Lambda Kappa Mu established a youth group known as the Capels. Chapters that have youth group help prepare them for their future, and we expose them to many civic and cultural opportunities. I want to just share briefly how my journey to LKM arrived. My church member, Mrs. Elizabeth Day, encouraged me to apply for a scholarship that her sorority was offering young African-American college-bound young ladies. And so I applied and ended up being a recipient of the scholarship for 4 years while at Lincoln University as a pre-med major. I thought to myself, this kind and generous organization really blessed me. And that one day, when all my educational goals had been completed, that I would join this organization. And I'm so thrilled and honored to now serve as the national president. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Scruggs. And last but certainly not least, we're going to hear from Eta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, President Sonda Bradfield.
Good morning, and thank you so very much for the opportunity for me to share a little bit about my journey with Eta Phi Beta Sorority. I am a 30-plus year member of Eta Phi Beta, starting out in Atlanta, Georgia, Gamma Theta chapter, transferring over to our current Delta Psi chapter in Atlanta. It has been such a pleasure working with the different communities throughout the United States with our programs and projects that we really have a niche into, which is the intellectual and or developmentally disabled community, which is our primary program. All of our chapters across the United States and the US Virgin Islands all participate in some form, whether it is through the ARC of the United States, ARC of whatever state you're in, People First, whatever entity or agency is in your community, we participate in advocating for and supporting the citizens of the intellectual and developmentally disabled community. My journey with Eta Phi Beta really centered around sisterhood. I moved from South Georgia to Big Atlanta, didn't have very much family there, and one of my coworkers invited me to a meeting. And once I learned about the objective of not for myself, but for others and working in the community, it became a joy to fill out my application and be accepted in such a great organization. And for 30 plus years, again, I have not looked back, have served in some capacity with Eta Phi Beta. So that's it for me for now, but hopefully we'll get a chance to come back later and chat. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Rita, it has been great getting to know these other national presidents and getting to meet them and work together. It is always great to have someone to talk to and to bounce ideas off, especially since we are all part of giving back to the community. Our focus is on business and entrepreneurship, but also the service that we give to our community and the things that we offer. Each organization may have a few different programs or the way we focus. Now with Iota Phi Lambda, we were born, I said born because we were started here in Chicago in 1929 by Lola Mercedes Parker, making us the oldest business and professional African-American organization in the country. We have over 60 chapters across the country and the Virgin Islands. We are divided into 5 regions, and those regions are Southern, Central, the Eastern region, the Far Western region, and the Southwestern region. So in each one of those regions, we are led by a regional director whose duty is to make sure that her chapters are being serviced and that they are giving back to the community. We started, I would say, Sar Parker started this organization as a way of gathering like-minded women who were focused on the business field. But she wanted to make sure that back in those days, women in business were not highly thought of, but she wanted to bring prestige to the field of business and to encourage young women to go into business and that it was an honorable field. Because in the beginning, we were mostly teachers, nurses. And so we began to branch out. And remember, in 1929, that was very difficult for African-American women to branch out into that field. But she did it. She and 6 of her friends were pioneers in offering an organization where women could gather together and support each other. As a support system, we make sure that we offer certain things to our women, to our members. We make sure that we promote the idea of going into business with our high school students and offering them scholarships. We also encourage encourage the development of leadership skills. That is one of the things that many of our children do not get an opportunity to do. So our young ladies are encouraged to pursue leadership and prepare themselves for not only being leaders in Iota, but being leaders in the wider field during their professional career. And we also promote civic and social service activities for youth and adults. We are an organization whose members have a major interest in total economic and cultural progress for all women and youth. Maybe, we'll hear from some of the others, but later on, I'll give you an idea of some of the projects and programs that we are affiliated with. So there are some other things that we would like to share. Maybe one of the other groups would like to share some of their programs and some of the things that they're focused on. I heard that Eta Phi Beta are mostly focused on helping youth and adults with, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Sonda. What did you say?
Intellectual and or developmentally disabled.
Thank you for saying that. And Deidre, maybe you can share some of the things. And I met Deidre at one of our affiliates meeting. We are all part of NCNW and the Black Women's Agenda. And we have a yearly meeting where we get together and discuss things that are focused on all of the African-American or women organizations. And I met Deidre and Lenore at one of these meetings. And so maybe they can talk some more about.
Well, what I wanted to do first, before we got into that and dove into some of those issues, was I would love to hear you all talk about how y'all came together to do this, how you all decided that we would be in partnership with each other last year. I know that we were all still trying to find ways out of the pandemic to connect our members and connect ourselves to the business of our members. But tell me really how y'all did this together.
That was all Lenore. Lenore she just grabbed the ball and ran with it. So Lenore.
Tell
Well,
us
can I
about it.
just, before Lenore interjects, I just have to tell my part of it. April 2020, I was in bed suffering from COVID-19. I had no idea what this disease was, what it was doing to our nation and to my body. And during that time, the president was telling us to inject ourselves with bleach, right? So I was the newly elected national president with plans, great plans for our organization to go one way. And here comes this national pandemic that literally shut down the entire world. And we had to pivot. And I wondered in between my mounting fevers, how my organization was going to survive. Subgroups started to form. They were providing their members with vital information for survival against this deadly virus. Collectively, our organizations are comprised of physicians and lawyers and public health workers, all of whom are extremely knowledgeable and well-rounded with information about this national crisis. Mrs. Lenore Reese, the national president of Gamma Phi Delta, saw a need for professional women, businesswomen, to be at the table and to be included in the national conversation of all the collective organization. And hence, we have the Coalition of Business and Professional Women. This woman, when I tell you, she bugged the heck out of me. Now, mind you, I was in the bed suffering from COVID, but she was relentless. And to this day, I am so grateful that she did. Lenore.
No, it started out with, I got an email from one of our members asking me, had I seen another email that had come out about this huge meeting? And I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. Send me the email. So I decided, I said, I'm going to call some of my sister sororities to find out whether or not they had received anything. Well, none of us had received any notification about this big, huge meeting. Right. So I said, you know what? We don't have to be included in that group, but we can have our own circle and our own group, because there's a whole group of women that are being excluded from the conversation. So I just looked up the names and contact information for the different business and professional women sorority. I reached out to all of them and I got these responses back. I'm sorry, Deidre, that I talked to you when you were sick. I didn't know. But
it's okay. It's fine.
But I would have done it anyway, had I known.
That's right.
But and it's been a great coming together. We had our initial meeting and we talked about how we could keep our organizations going throughout COVID, and what we could do to help. So that's how we came together, and we have been working together from that very day up to the present time, and we expect that we'll continue to do it even once we're out of office, that this coalition will continue, because it is really important for everyone to have a voice. And it doesn't matter whether you have hundreds of thousands of members or a multi-million-dollar budget. That does not put boundaries around the work that you can do in your communities. And that is very evident with each one of these organizations, to the extent that when we were doing I guess it was the last affiliates meeting, we had the opportunity for all of our organizations to talk about what we did. And there were a few people who said they were really quite surprised. Well, don't be surprised, because as African Americans, we have always learned to do much with little. And so we don't need a lot of money, not that we don't want it, but we're still going to serve our communities and make a difference in the lives of others. And so that's how we got started. And, I really love all of these women. And we decided that even once we're out of office, we're still going to have a regular meeting anyway, because we like each other just that much. But seriously, I am glad that we've had the opportunity to work together and to get to know one another and just to come together and share information on how we can improve our organizations internally and how we can do more just across the country.
We started out
Bradfield,
small.
I think
Yeah.
President Bradfield wanted to jump in there.
Oh,
real
okay.
quick. Go ahead.
Yeah, I did. And I'm sure our then President, Colette McCurdy Jackson, probably received that same phone call from President Reese. And she came back to Eta Phi Beta so excited about the opportunity for us to be a part of this collaborative partnership with these other organizations. And we all just kind of jumped in and said, whatever we need to do, we're going to try to make this happen. And we did for that first year. And again, this is our second year doing it. I'm the new president for Eta Phi Beta Sorority. And when she asked me if I was going to continue, I was like, absolutely. And I hope that these ladies welcome me as they did you. And you all have been wonderful with guiding me along the way for what you did that first year. So I am so excited to be a part of the collaborative partnership with you so that we can educate our youth, educate the public, and have a voice and a seat at the table. So I'm just happy to be a part of it. Thank you.
And we're glad to have you.
Can you all discuss maybe one thing that has happened as a result of either this coalition or you all being maybe invited or included at the table now? What does that look like tangibly for your groups? We'll start with President White.
As part of just getting to know each other, we started out small, doing a few flyers and putting out messages with all 4 organizations before we led up to this. But as part of that, we've been invited to participate. I don't know if the added visibility made a difference, but we participated with BWA, with their town hall meeting. With NCNW, we got an opportunity last year during the affiliate circle to work with Dr. Daly to actually become part of a more, I would say, highlight more of the affiliates and the things that we were doing. We were invited to be, I served as one of the circle leaders, where there were 5 organizations that I combined to do a presentation. And each one of us were part of a circle that did a presentation at the affiliates. And I think this was the first time that I remember since I've been going to NCNW, where we actually highlighted the affiliates, where we were able to do an actual presentation of our different organizations to explain what we're doing. So I think that that's one way that we have benefited from becoming more visible together, and others notice that. I think that's maybe part of it. I know that, and also recently we have been a part of Walker's Legacy, and we've joined them for a number of things over the years and meetings, but we were never invited to be a part of a coalition. And recently we were invited to be a part of a coalition to highlight entrepreneurship with African-American women. And that came about, one of our members, IOTA's members, was a personal friend, and she put our name out there, and IOTA got an opportunity to become part of something else. But I think the more we do, the more we're out there, the more visible we are, that people understand there are a lot of small organizations out there who are willing to do the work and the service in the community.
Right.
And I just also wanted to add the importance of the local collaboration as a result of the 4 of us coming together. Our local chapters in different cities are coming together and working and doing good for the communities. Before, people were just kind of separate, and it really just didn't make sense. Together, collectively, we can do so much more. And as a result of that, our 4 organizations are doing that in our local communities. We seek each other out. And
Mhm.
we'd love to see that kind of partnership because there is no competition when you're trying to do good for your community.
Absolutely. I feel like
And I
I'm
would
a
echo with,
collaborator by nature, and I love the fact that you all did it because prior to last year, I was not aware of the other organizations. And it's just been an excellent partnership to meet the soras of each of your organizations.
I think one of the other benefits is that we realize the amount of talent that we have within our organizations and how much they can do. I have been asked on a couple of occasions, so who do you pay to do your tech work? And I said, we're fortunate enough that we have great tech people in our organization and they do the work for us. And they do it because of the love of the organization. And with our coming together, we see that same spirit and attitude of being willing to come together to do projects and make this happen. This is an outstanding tech team, and without the tech team, this idea that I came up with, it would never happen. So, you know, a lot of times leaders can come up with ideas, but we need other people to help us put the legs on it and the skeleton and actually make it work. So we are very appreciative of that. And I do agree that because of the, I guess, expanded knowledge about our organizations, I know within Gamma Phi Delta, we have established probably 15 or more chapters across the country. We have 7 regions and you know, more than 50 chapters. And we're just glad that we have shared information, that we are partnering, because as a matter of fact, we did a project within the Eastern region with a chapter of Iota Phi Lambda. So that does say that it makes sense for us to come together, because together we can accomplish so much more than we can individually.
And one last thing that I would like to add to that is the businesses, the small entrepreneur businesses reached out and said, thank you, because we would not have had this audience without this type of offering that you were giving to us at such a reasonable price. We all know marketing is expensive, and we all know everybody is on Zoom. They're shopping with Amazon. Why not shop with us? So our small businesses really appreciated the efforts that these organizations put together so that they could get noticed, their businesses could get noticed, and then they could have ongoing and growing businesses. So that's one of the positive things that have come out of our collaboration together.
What are some additional benefits of being a part of a women's business and professional organization when there's so many other women's organizations? Let's say for African-American women, maybe there's D9, but we know everyone's not in that. But there are a lot of people who cross. There are people who are in double organizations, or they're in 3 or 4 or 5 organizations. What's the extra added benefit that you see in people belonging to organizations such as ours?
One of the benefits that I see is that in Gamma Phi Delta, we accept women for membership who have extensive work experience. They may not have an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, et cetera, but they have extensive work experience because we see value in that. So I think that is one of the unique things about our organization. We also have a holistic approach, and I think that's because of our founding. When we were founded at a business college in Detroit, Michigan, they not only looked at the academic side, but they also looked at the work they needed to do to help these women be polished and prepared to go into the business world. Because back then, you know, 30s, 40s, 50s, you know, we didn't always have the opportunity to know what it's like to be in a business or office environment. So they took the holistic approach on how to prepare the women to go into the workforce and what they needed to progress. And we've taken it a step further, that we also look at their personal and professional development along with the business side. We do workshops and a number of things. So we have a more holistic approach in looking at you, not just based on, oh, you have this is your background, so you fit. We look at, okay, how can we help you grow? And so I think that's the one thing that might be a little bit different. We have a holistic approach to our membership and how we can make them well-rounded businesswomen and entrepreneurs.
You know, I would like to add something to what Lenore said. We offer the same things, but because we were founded by business women and not on a college campus, we formed that relationship as adults. And, you know, a lot of things happen, like with the D9, they start on college campuses. There are a few, you know, join during their graduate chapters, but most of them join during undergrad. And so we offer that opportunity to join an organization as an adult businesswoman with an associate degree. So we have to be honest too. There are a lot of organizations that are cost prohibitive. You know, we offer reasonable joining fees and reasonable fees to join us to do the same work. And because we are business and professional women, you can also be a part of D9. You can be a part of the Panic Clinic and still be a part of us. So we have a lot of Delta, Zetas, and AKAs as part of Iota Phi Lambda sorority. We are basically serving the community in any way that you can find an opportunity to serve. I think that we offer that, just another avenue of doing basically some of the same things. And as a member of Iota, the exposure you get to the business world, the exposure that you get in webinars and programs and workshops that we offer to not only help our members, but to help other members in the community expand their business and to learn about the business field and how to go about starting a business. And we support our small business owners. So I think that's something that that's unique about business and professional women organizations, that you can be a part of us and also be a part of a Greek organization. Even though we have a Greek name, it does not stop you from being part of both. And one of the big things that I think that we offer, especially in Iota, is the sisterhood. A lot of members say, well, you know, I am doing this in my professional life and I do that, but I was looking for a group where I could feel welcome, that I could feel the sisterhood, that I could feel the love and the support of an organization. So we offer that to our members. You know, sometimes when you're working in a high-powered job and you're working in the professional field, it can be stressful, and you need your sisters to support you and to give you that feedback and that love. And so that's one of the unique things about Iota.
Great. I wanted to give you all just an opportunity, whether it's over the next year or the next coming years, to maybe talk about something maybe big that's coming up, or things that people want to know. Why do they want to connect with you all? And each of you have your websites on your backgrounds. And President Bradfield, if you'll put it in the chat, we'll get that out. We'll post that as well for your organization. But is there something in particular coming up either soon, the next year, the coming years, where people want to keep their eye out on your organization? And we'll start with Eta Phi Beta, and then we'll go to Gamma Phi Delta.
Okay, thank you so much. I would say yes. You know, we have all of these elections that are coming up, and we have to get out to vote. So one of our big push from years ago, and particularly now, is to get people aware of what the voting laws say in the United States for every state, not just Georgia. Particularly Georgia, because we have an interesting race that's going on now. There are so many self-proclaimed individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and their voices aren't being heard. So our big push right now is to get people aware of how these laws affect that community of people. whether it's getting to the polls, whether it's being able for a blind person to vote. They have a right to vote. Just because they're blind, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be having the same access as everybody else. So getting our lawmakers, our legislators to look at the laws, they look good on paper until you try to implement them. You know, you need ramps. You know, some of the doors you can't get wheelchairs through. So that community of people need advocates. And we are advocates throughout Eta Phi Beta for that community of people. So you can just be on the lookout for us no matter where you see something is going on, whether it's a local commissioner or whether it's a state senator. We're going to be in their faces saying, tell me how you voted on this issue that affect this community of
That's
people.
right.
So you can look out for us for that. Thank you.
One of the things that we'll be doing as well, during the last presidential election, we focused in on voter education. We can't tell people how to vote, but we can certainly make sure that you know, number one, what is being voted upon, what the laws are. Make sure that you know that information. It is critical. We have to understand as a people that our vote counts. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, but our vote counts. And it's important that we do that. There are a couple of other things that we're going to be doing internally with our organization. We're implementing a mentoring program. Just for the membership, we're starting there first, just to help women to grow as leaders and to focus in on the kinds of skills, knowledges, abilities that you need in order to move into a leadership position. Sometimes people want to be involved. They want to run for a position, whether it's within our sororities or whether outside, but they don't always understand all of the skills and everything that's involved. And a lot of the skills are things that you learn at work and other places that are transferable, but we want to make sure that women are aware of that so that they can grow. And we will also continue to do work in terms of just personal development. We did something on estate planning. You know, a lot of times people think, oh, I don't really have that much. I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, you do. Everything that you have has value to it. So we want to make sure that we are helping our members to become well-rounded as well as our communities. So those are the kinds of things we'll be working on. The voter education, which is very important, mentoring, as well as just making sure that people know the things that they need to do on a personal level, because oftentimes those things also impact their business if they have a business as well.
Absolutely.
Dorita, you know, it's amazing how even though we're separate, but we're the same. IOTA is doing the same things, maybe in a different way. Getting out the vote this year, we really made a push, and we will continue to do that. And not only that, but working with Move On and a couple of the other national organizations where we are participated in the call and sending out text messages across the country. Those are things that we will, we started that this year, but we will continue to do that, working with Move On and Get Out the Vote nationally, attending those workshops and participating in the activities. But the big thing that we instituted, as Lenore was talking about, we call it IOTA Talks, which is led by our national president-elect, Charlotte Berry, where we offer webinars, workshops on leadership, not only things that we need to move up as leaders in IOTA, but in our professional lives. So those are two of the things that we have in common that we are working on. But as you know, and some of you might know, we were founded in 1929. So 2029 is coming up really close. It gets here really fast. We will be celebrating 100 years as an organization. So for the next couple of years, thank you, Lenore. For the next couple of years, we will be working on expanding our organization and bringing in more people to celebrate. One of our big goals is to have 100 chapters by the time that we are 100 years old. So that is our big push for the next couple of years that we will be working on. And we've made a great start on that goal, chartering many chapters. Recently, we chartered a chapter at Fisk University our first one at Fisk. And so that was a great opportunity to spread the word of iota. So those are things that we are working towards. And we will also, the other thing that we're working on is with our youth. It is our field group. And what we wanted to do was to make sure we talked to them about financial literacy and things like that. But we wanted to start a banking program with them where we teach them not just on paper, but how to actually bank and how to save and how to talk about savings and the difference between savings and a want and a need and how do you save. And so we've started out this year, we started with our piggy bank project and we're going to expand that as we go and also organize them on a national level. Our youth leader, Gina Berry, has been doing a great job organizing national programs for our youth. So far, we've had 2 national webinars. The first one was on what do you name your business? And then the second was on how do you do a business plan? So each month, there will be a different webinar for them as they develop and learn how to start a business. What are the things you need to do? And by the end of the year, they will be able and ready to start their business with all of the right information. So we are really trying to expand our field group into the world of entrepreneurship. So those are some of the things that IOTA will be working on for the next couple of years.
Great. And as we listen to Dr. Scruggs, I want you all to be thinking about any closing things that you didn't get a chance to say and your closing comments. And after we find out what are the next pressing things coming up for LKM, then we'll come back around and we will prepare to close out with any final comments or things you didn't get a chance to share about your organization. So Dr. Scruggs, thank you.
Yes, I just wanted to share that our national theme is Sisters, Diverse, and United for Race, Social Justice, and the Fight for Equity. Currently, we are preparing for a national virtual town hall to address Black maternal health. A few other national efforts have included, but of course are not limited to, with my other national organizations, the right to vote, women's reproductive rights, and of course, a ban on assault weapons. It's just gotten out of hand. Our local chapters are preparing to share their holiday cheer to their communities by providing holiday meals, clothing for young people, and care packages to include all the necessities needed for a family during the holiday season. But not only are we sharing, spreading cheer during the holiday, but throughout the year. Many chapters adopt families as well as schools in their communities. We have been a constant in many of our prospective communities for years, and we are just thrilled to lock arms with our faith-based organizations, community leaders, and other like-minded organizations such as this coalition.
Thank you. So as we move to close, I just want to appreciate each of you for creating this, for giving space to our members to work together, for giving space for these women who have businesses to thrive. Some of this is their first time doing something like this. And as a business owner, moments like this really propel you into other things, and it really does help your business. Even the marketing of it and bringing people here. We had just close to 50 vendors this year, and we've already had hundreds of shoppers come in. And so we invite you to go to the comment section, and it's a short Eventbrite registration, and you'll get the Zoom link as soon as you register. We will still be here until 2:30 Eastern time. So look that up if you need to translate that into some other time zones, but 2:30 Eastern time. where you can come and shop and visit the vendors that are here. You can just go room to room and look at some of the different vendors, or you can come in particular if you know someone who's popping up today and support their business. But we do invite you to still come. We'll be here until 2:30 Eastern time. So what I'll do is I'll move, go backwards to Dr. Scruggs, and then we'll do Ms. Bradfield, and then President Reese, and we'll close with Dorothy White with Iota Phi Lambda as the lead this year. And we want to thank you all for being here, but let's go ahead and start with any closing comments. Dr. Scruggs.
Well, first of all, Dorita, I just want to thank you for your leadership through this entire thing. This platform is very intimidating. And unless you have someone like you and your entire team, they have really held our hands and carried us through this process. So thank you for your leadership and helping bring all of this together. Thank you again, President White, for spearheading this event this year. Sonda, I guess it's you and I next time around. So we're excited. We're going to get geared up. And this was just a wonderful morning, wonderful afternoon. I don't know about you three, but I'm ready to shop. Thank you.
President Bradfield.
Thank you so much for closing remarks. And I do appreciate you, Sarah White and Sarah Reese and Sarah Scruggs, for just being willing to help out in this platform that we're on. One thing I do want to mention is that Eta Phi Beta does have an auxiliary organization. It is our men's group called the Shads, and it's open to all men who have a like mind to come together to support the goals and visions of Eta Phi Beta. Mostly they are husbands of our sorors, but you do not have to be a husband. You just have to have a like mind to want to serve the community. We do have youth groups. Our BET group, female youth group, is ages 12 to 18, and they're all across the United States where there is a chapter located. And then our male youth group, the Sororities, again, ages 12 to 18. And then we have our BET groups, which is our youth group, ages 7 through 11. And again, we teaching them those leadership skills, those banking skills. So I invite the other sororities, when you have information workshops that you're putting together, please include Eta Phi Beta, and we will get that information out to our youth. We don't care where they learn it from, as long as they learn it. So, right. So we'll appreciate you doing the platform for us. Thank you so much, Dorita. You all have a great evening.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you being here. President Reese.
Yes, this is a wonderful event, and I am glad to see the number of vendors increase, as well as our shoppers. And there are a couple of things I do want to mention. We also have youth auxiliaries, as most of us do, and we go from the 3rd grade up to the sophomores in college. And we are really trying to expand what we teach and what we provide to those youth groups. During our last Goulet, we had a young entrepreneur. Actually, he has, I can't think of his name, Mason's Hot Dogs in Atlanta, and he actually spoke to the youth, and they were quite excited to actually talk to somebody in their age group that actually has a business. So we're moving to broaden what we offer to our youth. And so that's a great thing. Also, we had a National Day of Service recently, and thank you to each and every chapter. All across the country, we did things like donate items to seniors' homes, to families. We did Thanksgiving baskets, so many things and so many hours of service. In addition to that, we also provided things to shelters for women and children, because often we know that oftentimes when they are there, that is, they're leaving with just what they have. So we were able to do that. So we continue to do those kinds of projects. And again, to my sister presidents, I love all of you. And Sonda, welcome to the group. You are part of us, and you will always be a part of us. And it's just a great opportunity to work together to provide things that will uplift our communities and just really globally, because all of these things spread from one place to another. So thank you for that. Thank you to our shoppers, to our vendors, and get out there and shop.
All right. And National President Dorothy White, Iota Phi Lambda.
Thank you, Dorita. And as I bring this to a close today, I would be remiss if I did not say thank you, thank you, thank you to Dorita Hatchett. At the end of the shopping mall last year, you know, Dorita was one of the volunteers and one of the helpers, one of the tech people. And I said to her, I said, you know, Dorita, we will be doing this next year. And I want you to be our lead person, the lead organizer. And she said, okay. And that's the one thing that I do like about a sisterhood. When you ask, very few times do you hear no. Most of the time they say yes, you know, whatever I can do, I'm willing. And we waited. We had a late start this year because, you know, I was talking to her and she said, you know, I may not be able to do it because I have this big thing coming up and I don't know. I said, well, just let me know. I'll wait. And she cleared it, her calendar, and she said, I got it done. I'm on board. And here she is. She's done a great job organizing this. And so I have to add my thanks to all of this, and also to the tech team, to Sarita, who was the tech lead last year. I mean, she has been an excellent help with Dorita to bring us on. And that's the one thing I do like about this, the sharing and the helping from each organization. As we join together each year, we are building a platform that we are getting to know each other, and we're beginning to know the strengths of what each person offers. And we're able to use that across the board. So thank you so much for all of that. And our vendor relation people, we had a team of people who their job was to go out and solicit and find vendors. Without them, we wouldn't have this. So thank you to our vendors relation team. You did a great job of finding vendors for this organization. And also Mr. Chin. We want to say thank you for coming in. He jumped right in there. We were only supposed to be using his live stream, but he came in and he's helping out today, and he's doing working with us. And so thank you for all of that. As we close out, there are a few things I would like you to know about Iota that I did not talk about before. We have a few programs that are trademarked, like our Toys You Can't Return program, which is a teen pregnancy prevention program that we started years ago. And so that is one of our major programs, along with IMAP, Iota's Mother's Assistant Program. And as they say, you cannot do anything without someone helping you. So Iota does not stand alone. We have our auxiliary groups, the Palati. Those are the women who support Iota. We have our men of Iota. We call them our MOIs. And, you know, they're always there to lend a hand, no matter what's going on. And then we have our field group. Also, when you're working, one of the best things that you can do is building partnerships and working with affiliates and other organizations. So some of the other organizations that we work with is NCNW, the Black Women's Agenda. We also work with Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights. With that organization this year, we helped to produce a video on women issues. National Urban League, we work with them, the Children Defense Fund, NAACP, United Negro College Fund, AfriCare. Those are some of the organizations nationally that we work with to spread the message of service and to spread Iota's message across the country. And we are one of the few African-American organizations that have an accredited non-governmental organization where we have an official observer seat at the United Nations. So we do have a seat there where it's called an NGO, where we are allowed to come in and to observe what's happening at the United Nations. And we've had that seat for a number of years, going back from the 30s. So those are some of the things that Iota is currently working with, the organizations, our auxiliaries, and just spreading the word of Iota by enlarging our organization with new members and new charter groups across the country. So again, I want to say thank you to all of our shoppers, all of our vendors for coming out and supporting the Small Business Saturday virtual shopping mall. And we look forward to having you come back and join us again next year, where our lead organization will either be LKM. Oh, she's waving her hand. So I guess Lambda Kappa Mu is volunteering. So they will be heading this up next year. So we look forward to having all of you back next year. And again, to the tech team, great job. Wonderful. Dorita, what can I say? Thank you so much for everything. And come on out and join us. It's not too late. You can go to Eventbrite, register, come right on in. If you registered and you decided that you're just going to wait around, we will be here until 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. So come on out, join us, and support your sisters. Thank you for coming.
And what I would like to do in closing, I want to thank you all for your kind words. And I'm actually going to say names just because I know that, people didn't have to do it. People did not have to just show up week after week and prepare for this. And so I'm just going to list the names that are on my list of people that came every week. And we'll start with Dr. Chappell, Lizette Williams, Winona Chambers, Alicia Lancaster, Tamika Kinsey Williams, Terry Van, Angela Bowman, Melinda Jones, Stephanie Spann, Nakia Johnson, Sarfalita Foreman, Kimberly Williamson, Vanessa Murray, Vicki Grant, Dr. Valencia Hall, Jessica Brown, Maud Holt, Veronique Scott, Natasha McQueen Bamashevi, Andrea Jackson, Latricia Thomas, Lisa Davis, Sharita Watson, and then actually former President Colette Jackson came on in the very beginning to give us some leadership and to provide her support as well. So I wanted to call them by name because each one did something at various times that was helpful, and we could not have done it without every single moment. And for each person being on today, even those who had to get up on the West Coast at 5:30 and 6 o'clock this morning, we definitely appreciate that. John Chin, always geo-teaming, engaging virtual meetings. Thank you for your support and for assisting. And so we're going to close the live stream, but again, we will still be here. If you don't have the link, you can go to Eventbrite and search us, Small Business Saturday Coalition, and we'll be here until 2:30 Eastern Time. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you here in the Zoom room. Thank you so much to all of the vendors and all of the shoppers. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.